Well, it's still going on out there. There was a doctor on YouTube that described the difference between narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. Psychopaths have the ASPD disorder. They, their brain does not work in fear, sympathy, empathy, right, wrong. They have no empathy. They find enjoyment and excitement hurting people. And it's so what? Because they can't feel remorse. Because on what they said, a PET scan, like electronic reading of your brain, that part of their brain don't light up. So they could kill you and say so what? And honestly mean it. You can't make them feel sorry for you because they don't have it in them. It's like they're born stupid, but it's genetic. And they're the snipers, the serial killers. They're born to kill, and that's genetic. And where sociopaths are made by the rough environment, and they hurt people because they're taught to, and that it's acceptable. And people have been out harassing me, so I've been playing that tape for them to realize what they actually are. Or they'd be saying, my God, get her out. Because it's sick what's going on. Like April 14th, 22, the two investigators followed me into Save-A-Lot around 1:48 p.m. on Whipple. It's really sick what's going on. They did have a man pretend he was FBI before she called that agent back. So Dave could confront her in the truck. It was a stunt. They had people pretend they were her kids, bad-mouthing her. Her kids didn't know anything about it. And it's been the people hurting her the whole time. It's just sick. February 25th, 22. McDonald's on Whipple in Helsindales Road. A man from Arvada, he should live, one or two houses down. I think that's where I seen his car. He was one of my neighbors. I don't know him, but I seen him a lot. Okay, he used to follow me around when all the bad stuff was happening. He showed up and he went to walk in. He said, I'm tired of this. He said, those undercover police called Will. Told Will not to believe her, so he didn't help her. He didn't even watch one house tape. And I'm just looking at him. And he said, he's running his mouth some more. He said, her ex-husband showed up at a store, told everybody he didn't want her anymore. Been trying to get rid of her for a while. It hadn't worked, and asked everyone in that store to help. And it's been the people in that store hurting her the whole time. Even though it was them, some guy thought it was amazing what she lived through and wanted to meet her, and I told him, go ahead. So up walks Vito and says, hi, I'm Vito. I'm like, hi. Okay. Well, February 7th, 22, Eagle in front of Becky. She works at the laundromat in Louisville. We're in there walking around, and my grandkids made up those documented me games to pretend they're in there calling them fucking lying dirty little bastards. And we go to leave by AutoZone. There's two men standing out there and said, Will did this to her. I said, look, Will did little with this case and left it on his desk. He didn't know anything about it. I was talking to Becky a week ago Sunday, and I asked her if she heard all that. And she's like, yeah, I heard all that. Yeah. The undercover police helping out for Judge Pete. He looks like little white Santa Claus, friends with Judge Timothy Ludick. Undercover, which is a magistrate over that district. He may not even know what the undercover police were up to. But he's friends with Judge Pete. He looks like a little white Santa Claus, 91819. Picture Peter something. Judge Peter something looks like a little white Santa Claus joking around with him right before my divorce. And standing outside my room. Undercover police all joking around with him. Okay? And he had been following me around for 3 years. Now, and we're Memorial Day weekend, 2019 food counter at Walmart 62. Old white woman to an African American man. For it's my daughter her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spell. It's from at a store. It's for my daughter. They did all this for. And our family watching her doing this. And for who is Karen's rich boyfriend with the state of Ohio who protects her, mocking me. They're getting paid by the state to protect me, and it's them. See, the genetic disorder, they have no fear of getting caught because their brain don't work there. They have no fear of anything, and they have no remorse. So her in there bragging everybody. It's like, so what? It's like in December of 18, the white-haired guy with his hair parted on side. It's Michelle's brother. He has to be, or some kind of relative. He's a spitting image of Judge Pete. Almost looked like him in a fake beard, joking around with Ludick. He on the day of my divorce, he's in Wendy's in Maslin. You gotta chip her. You can't do that. Why? She didn't do anything wrong. Her family don't care about her. It's like, why not? Just cut her. Okay? 12/21/18. Whoop in the neck. Foggy, hazy, dark, bright light. Felt myself cry. Woke up with a dent in my head. Hair's missing. Another man's comb on the dresser and a steak knife with bone and flesh in the sink. And Dave's accusing me of having an affair. My head is pounding. I've been drugged up so bad for 6 hours, and I had a 4-inch bruise with fingerprints embedded in my ribs. There's a video of it in the case because I was in protected custody. It's the only time police and agencies can be in a home it's under a threat of life. Failure to notify for initiating and speaking to the other person in the home is abuse and misconduct, and failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. Well, that white-haired guy showed up with another guy at Bob Evans in January. He said, you idiot, you left your home over there. He said, well, you're lucky I only combed her hair. I had almost a naked lady laying next to me. That means it was his fingerprints in my ribs. They say that psychopaths enjoy hurting people because they get a high and makes them happy because they can't feel remorse. They can't feel empathy. So hurting them gives them excitement. Do you realize that serial killer, having somebody cut up next to him, what it did for him? I was found innocent of everything in 18. Where everybody was being followed around. My ex-daughter-in-law, Melissa, was friends with Michelle. My oldest son's kids called her Auntie Shell. On Thanksgiving of 18, for the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. And then later on, we're making everything up to Flora in their games of pretend. But they actually caught Melissa telling the kids to lie because everybody was being followed around. They're documenting me, games to pretend. The Maslin police will verify it. And the rest of my family spoke highly of me. These people have admitted to illegal search and seizure. It's 5 years that they broke in and were stalking me. Photoshopping a shower scene, and even outside my legally bugged house, that they were erasing some guy named Chris out of a room. And then some other guy asked to erase his part out, that they didn't think about what they did to me before. Where I had giant bruises the size of orange and grapefruits on both legs. I still have a scar on my leg where I woke up and my leg was bleeding, and I called Dave, and it was white as a cigarette. Said, maybe I got you with a toenail. Somebody had cut me. I had to bandage it, and I have a scar. That's no toenail. I had fingerprints embedded in my hands and in my arms. And I'm like, did I squeeze myself? And the fingerprints were bigger than mine. They lie. They have sodium pentothal reports, true serum. Sodium pentothal false confession, you admit to anything. It's lethal, it's outlawed, and you lie under it. It's attempted murder. I have never been questioned or accused by no officer, no agent, no man, no lady, no attorney. No one's ever spoke to me. They even told people that Chris, off in the dark where you can't see him, no man talked to her. No, we used to a ceremonial step. They just broke in and drugged me up to get what they wanted. I was talking to a retired sheriff. He said, that kind of stuff makes you so crazy. They could have drugged those people that took down the towers, told them what to say and do, and they don't even know they killed herself and all those other people. They're mind controlling drugs, and you do what you're told. He said it's that bad. They're date rape drugs. They're sleepwalking. My ex defends me on tape during the police investigation. And that he knew I never hurt anyone. I was good to the kids, good to the grandkids. But I was getting sick on his drinks and I was throwing up and I was losing 5 to 7 pounds a week up there. And I couldn't even keep saliva down. I lived through a concentration camp from these people. It was horrifying. I didn't know when I'd leave if I'd almost get shot driving, face stalkers. Get back home, Dave would beat me with injuries and I wouldn't retaliate. He never got arrested for anything, which is really sick. And they have all these people dead to rights with that protective life case because a heavyset cop made a public statement at Walmart 62 that he asked Dave about those people threatened me. That made Will's case legal. Carrying around the house state case is what cops in uniform call it. September 27th, 18. Protected custody for an informant. And I told you over 10 men told on him for the shower scene and the dark confessions before. And I gave you the list of the people that told the police and investigators. And on Dave, 8-9 first thing in the morning, apartment 2 in the building for mine, came out, ran out Dave last year, and then they told the police. I was drugged and told to say it. May 25th, 21, 6 p.m., Wendy Screw was talking about the church people breaking in before, drugging me in front of my one client, told Jim and Brian, my neighbors, he heard it, and it was too dark for him. 1295 Fairlawn screamed at him for a little white lady. She talked to several people. February 2nd, 22 Burlington Coat Factory by the men's clothing, a kid that looks like the guy that went to Paymer. Admitted he personally drugged me and told me to say stuff people ran and say blah. Oh my goodness. My one client lives on 6th Street. There's a brown house across from it. African-American man ran out and yelled at the postman. Postman's like, we all heard it. People chant that around me, for we all hear. They sold the login by Christmas of 18. They announced it at Walmart. The agents are selling the login for money. They're selling it for $25 a pop. And went clear across the country at one point. I had a guy that looked like Al from Home Improvement from Washington State. There was people from California, Texas, a gentleman's club from Florida. Let's see, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Virginia had a 2-mile line brigade. And a lot of people were there to help protect because they already knew all those kids lied. And yeah, people would even say that we're here so that to protect her, the apostolics can go somewhere else. We're hanging out with Karen today, trying to protect me while I was out. People have admitted to over 50 who have seen that cop rape me. For we can't have her state what happened up there, and I got tortured trying to help a lady that said her husband died July to September 19. I still have nightmares, and I have to take spasm medicine from it. And people make fun of me for a cop raping me and torturing me. They told everybody they were agents from the agency stationed in the courthouse, and they were FBI. And where I called FBI, why wouldn't I think it was them? And people were falling for it. And then I had to break it down. Well, that would make them cops. The undercover police, they pulled him where it says police parking. And, yeah. And they have, let's see, June 23rd to July 4th of last year, Walmart investigators working the case. What are these people talking about? She's never heard anyone. And then girls that date those guys, oh my goodness, the boys had a drugger to make her say that stuff. No one mentions those tapes right in front of investigators. October 2020, investigators from Ravenna, for we all know this woman's innocent. For we all know. June of 19, Liberty House Sheriff, undercover officer was in there from Ravenna. Said, the worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over and properly. We can wipe that one out. They only made fun of the back of my knees. But he made a mistake later in front of the North Canton Jackson police. He was on the phone. You made up a case to watch her. That's funny. You did what to her? That's funny. She must really like it. And they admitted to frame me March 24th, 22, 1:30. The car would have it. You framed me. You framed her before. Yeah, we framed her before. Shame on you. I know wish we wouldn't have done it. I know those people even raped her. And they're screaming across parking lots. 2 parking lots away. Amy's like, I thought my husband was out. I heard that clear in my apartment. The second apartment building in the apartment before mine came out where they read it out. Dave called him a bastard. Children were calling him bastards in Dollar General. It's public knowledge. And I still have idiots make fun of me because the part of their brain to feel sympathy and empathy is dead. They have the same psychopath disorder. They're killers. You know, there's been people on TV shows where, you know, these idiots kidnap people, rape them, and torture them. They're the kind of people that would make fun of them for. Because they've made fun of me for being a victim of these people being cut up, raped, drugged. And where I was being drugged in apparently a shower scene, they kept saying things that didn't happen. And I was sitting alone in my apartment, and I was like, well, the only time I touch myself like that is showering. I walk outside, they're laughing at me. She figured out what they did. Shower scene. And I'm like, well, May 12th, 22, Bubba's Restaurant, patio. A group of men are screaming at the undercover police while there's sheriffs driving by and other police departments. We found a tape of those boys admitting a shower scene in the other room. None of this is funny. I go in Sheets by 12:30 on Whipple and Fulton Road. They're in there complaining. We told those boys we knew they raped her and none of this is funny. May 26, 22. KFC in Belden. At noon, some guy walks in. The attorney had it set up so it looked like she was weird with herself. And they can't use it because some idiot man told on him for putting a shower scene in the other room. All right. December 9/21, edit the Oakland apartment maintenance man. Someone calls him at 4 o'clock. All the tapes before were them, not her. Wow, what's going on? It's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. December 9/21, Stark County Hunger Task Force. White man bald with dark eyes worked the case. He come out from distributing food. We always knew the tapes before were them, not her, so we never said a word. They both talked to the Canton police and investigators. I have more. November 24th, 21, a Maslin officer walks in. I'm here to watch her. There's a Stephen Eric stalking her, and we don't know who they are yet. It's finally got funny after everything they did. Nothing's admissible. That's what Officer Reinhardt Louisville said. That's what 2 retired sheriffs. How stupid are these people? Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life. Failure to notify for initiating and speaking to the other person in the home is abuse and misconduct, and failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. The Fourth Amendment right to privacy makes it a legal search and seizure. You don't get a corner to watch somebody stalking. They're that stupid. Because they don't think they can get caught, and if they get caught, they don't think they'll go to jail. I talked to an attorney the other day. I said that the part about police and agencies can only be in a home underneath the threat of life and has to speak to everyone before they start. He's like, I know they do. That's why the other cops are laughing at these people. Of how stupid are they? And they should have known better. Other people have said that.